Welcome back to my channel. This is John from Cloud Tech Inside. In today's session, we'll be talking about the Apple's WWDC conference, which was held early this week on Monday, and also focus on some of the Gen AI strategy that Apple was rolling out in that conference. So let's take a look at some of the highlights.
So Apple has planned to enhance the writing tools by using AI. You have now options to summarize, augment your emails with some additional. Then comes the Gen emojis. You can create now emojis based on a person's photo or just by typing some text in. That's possible now. It's making it more consumer friendly, and it can also combine some of the information in the phone and provide context to Siri, and Siri can take all these information as the context and provide you priority notifications, which means they can highlight certain things if there's a flight coming in, flight notifications, event notifications, and many more.
I like what I heard so far. So some of those cool features integrated into this consumer applications within the Apple ecosystem will be amazing and will be more productive. The next part, we will be getting into the Apple Intelligence part. What are the strategies on their LLMs? As of now, I haven't heard anything or any developments by Apple in the LLM space. So this is where I would differ from their strategy. I believe all the companies should have their own LLM, just like Facebook has their own, Google has their own, Amazon has their own. That should be the strategic approach to having a Gen AI model for their organization, which will give a more intuitive and smoother experience in their devices, in their products, in their applications, etc. But Apple is slightly behind in the AI race, so they chose ChatGPT to augment Siri in some of these applications and enable Gen AI in their devices, improving customer experience. And no doubt that it's going to improve the customer experience, but Apple has to come up with their own ecosystem and then build some of these features in their own Gen AI model.
Current architecture where Apple is having some of the LLM models hosted on their device and some on the private compute cloud, which is hosted by Apple. And they are using currently the chips to host the local models, M series and A1 Pro chips, and also pulling only the relevant information to provide the context to the LLM model, thereby making sure data privacy is taken care. And also the private compute cloud, that's a pretty new announcement. They are having their own data centers so that data is never stored elsewhere.
Let's see some of those features. And the surprising part is I also noticed that the ChatGPT is being hosted on a private cloud. And that's the Apple's core value, that the data privacy is very important to them. None of the Apple employees or Apple itself should not be able to access, and all data should be secure for their customers. And all the searches within the ecosystem is protected under data privacy laws. Let's listen to some of those highlights. Here, Apple is hosting multiple models to tackle some of the questions from their consumers accessing via devices. So I'm pretty sure Siri is going to take the first hit by understanding what kind of question. Based on the complexity of the question, it's going to send it into the in-device processing, or it goes to the private compute cloud, which is hosted within Apple data centers. So understanding this is that small models, probably from ChatGPT, like GPT-2, might be hosted on the device, and GPT-4 might be on the cloud. So it's a multi-model architecture, which is some of the very common architecture patterns I've seen in developing applications on Gen AI. So this is pretty cool. The second thing is ChatGPT being hosted on a private cloud. And this is a surprise to me. Typically, ChatGPT is provisioned or hosted on Azure, and that is completely changed, and it's going to private cloud, which is ensuring the data security and the privacy for their customers, which has been Apple's core value from the get-go. And the third thing I want to talk about is the chips. So Apple has the M series chip and the A17 Pro, which is the latest one. Some of these chips are meant for general usage, for compute, daily usage, for browsing, compute, writing, etc. But now they are trying to host the models on some of these chips, which are not exactly meant for AI hosting model. Some of these models are really big, and some of these models needs a GPU kind of processor to get a certain level of performance. But Apple is trying to host it A17 has some of the neural network engine behind the scene, which is going to enable more faster processing of these applications. But some of the industry application specific integrated circuits from Amazon, Google, some of them very specialized for Gen AI applications, are much faster than a general purpose chip. So that's something we have to understand. I'm pretty sure Apple is considering some of those chips in the future to augment the existing M series as well as A series chips. With that said, I'm wrapping up my discussion. Also looking forward to hear what happened to the Gemini contract when Apple was talking to Google. Very curious to hear what happened to those collaboration. You might see some of those developments later in the future. But so far, thanks for listening. Signing off, John.